Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Claus Connect. This is going to be episode 19. I am Shawn White, Mrs. Claus Vintage, and we are happy you're joining us. As always, we are going to give it a couple minutes for our audience to join us. Uh, Thanks to our producer, Angela, who does a wonderful job, and TNL Broadcast. It's going to be a great night. Uh, Hello, Paul and Mary, Don. Let's fill this room up. Let's get a big old audience going here, folks. We're gonna have some good stuff to talk about too. Hi, Terry from Stay Bearded. Hello, Ken. Thanks for joining us tonight. And tonight is September 8th. Had to think about that for a minute. This is episode 19. And tonight we are going to have with us Jeff Wertz from Ohio. And the theme of the show tonight is the journey of a Santa from solo work to partnerships and community impact. So I think I'm just going to go in. I think we're going to need a lot of time to talk tonight. So we're just going to get rolling. And I'll stop every once in a while and we'll talk with the audience with questions and interactions. So with that, Angela, will you run the wonderful pictures of Jeff and let's introduce him to the audience?
Wait a minute. Think you're at the North Pole. Mrs. Claus is out there ready to give you your dinner, and you're saying, "Oh, Miss Bernard, am I on the nice list?" Do it loud and clear so we can all. But wait a minute. Nobody can blink. Don't blink, or you're going to miss it. All right. Here we go. One more time. Here we go.
Bernard, am I on the nice list?
Did you see him? Did you guys see him come through? Yeah. Did you see him come through? Yeah. Oh, okay. I think some of your other ones need your eyes checked here. Did you see him?
Didn't see him.
You need to get your eyes checked too. I know you're an official too, so we won't say anything there, okay? All right, here we go. Now, on the count of 3, everybody help me. I want him to flip the card over, and let's see what Bernard said. Okay? Count down with me. 3,
2, 1.
Whew, nice list.
He made the nice list. All right. There you go. You can take that card home.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, and a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas. I hope you have fun. Near and the dear ones, the old and the young.
I'm just fading in and out. Okay. I have worked with Jeff and known him for a few years, and he is so wonderful to work with. Um, and with that, I will introduce Jeff Wertz to the show. Welcome.
Hey, Sean. How you doing? Thanks for having me on tonight. I feel so honored to be on your show after watching all the episodes. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, of course. You've taught me so much about so many things, and I feel like we've kind of grown together in this crazy world of
Yeah.
the Claus community for
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Likewise, and you've taught me so much too, and it's just kind of been a nice joint effort here, and looking forward to this year, as we'll get into that, I'm sure, in the show here.
Yeah. So we met a few years ago at the Red Suit Conclave,
Yeah.
and I was doing a TikTok, I think was kind of the moments, and
Yeah.
teaching everybody about TikTok. And that's kind of when I first met you and Ken. And then after that, what, Charles Howard? We've
Yep.
seen each other.
Charles Howard, we reconnected up like the first day. I remember walking in on Thursday in their auditorium, and you're seeing all the friendly faces. And remember, you came up to Ken and I and said, "Oh, wow, it's so nice to see some friendly faces." And it was fun. It was fun. We had a good time, and we kind of started from that point going forward with our journeys with multiple different performances. So it's been
Right.
a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So tell me about your beginning. What okay, let's go back even further.
Yeah.
What influenced you as a child?
Oh my gosh. I guess I started my very first Santa exposure as a Santa was December 1st, 1977. I was 18 years old. My sister-in-law was a teacher at an elementary school in Napoleon. And I don't know how it all worked out. This was like 40 some years ago, 49 years ago. But anyway, she needed a Santa and had asked me, and I couldn't turn her down. I said sure. So one of the photos I think that ran across there was my first suit that somebody had, and her friend was helping me put it on. But always enjoyed being a Santa. That was my first exposure, and then what
Tell
in
me, go back a little bit further. What was it like as a child?
child. Going back with our traditions that we had every year. My dad worked at Campbell Soups in Napoleon, and they always had a family on a Saturday. They rented out the school gymnasium, and they always had a family event there where they had cartoons and acts and so forth. And then they always had where you could go down to the gymnasium. They give you one ticket. You talk to Santa, and then you take that ticket over to a spot, and you get to pick out any present that you want. But I always enjoyed doing that, and something about Santa always intrigued me. And then going forward, just briefly, if I can,
Yeah.
when my kids were in preschool and their mother taught there, they wanted me to step in and also do Santa. Well, I didn't have an outfit, I didn't have the beard, I had all the stuff, and it was kind of interesting because I was doing Santa for them, and my children didn't really realize who I was as the Santa. But that was fun. That was fun. So that's how that started. And then fast forward just a little bit more, which really kicked off my career, was in the early 2010, 2013. Our family always went to Bronner's every year, usually in October. And I remember walking in there and they said, "Hey, go back and pick out a Santa suit. That's going to be your Christmas present." So then I knew I was in.
Yeah. Wow. So your first job was where?
At the first official job was at the Toledo Zoo. They have a big event there, the Lights Before Christmas. And there was two other Santas there, and I was kind of the rookie. So I got the Sunday night shift that nobody seemed to want, but it worked out good. So that was my first paying jobs. I did that a few years, did the tree lighting ceremony. Um, and then I got to know one of the Santas there, which told me about the Santa school, Charles Howard. And the first year, I was just kind of new at the whole thing. I really didn't think much about it. By the time the second year came around, he talked to me again about it and says, "You really need to go to this Santa school up in Midland, Michigan, and give it a try." So, long story short, I was in my boss's office, and we always get into conversations, and she really enjoys Christmas and the whole Santa thing. And before you knew it, I was signing up to be going to Charles Howard for the first year. And that really opened up my eyes and the networking and everything out there. And it just kind of steamrolled from
And
there.
can I say that your boss is one of the most wonderful, generous ladies I've ever met, ever. Uh, She's so supportive and
Yes,
really
very
wants
supportive.
stuff for people.
Yes,
And I hear you talk about her all year long, not just Christmas, but she's just a nice person, and
that's right.
you're
That's
very
right.
lucky to have her.
Very special. Very special.
Yeah. So a lot of what you just said talks about the community and networking, and it sounds like jobs. You've got jobs from this networking from the
Yes.
community, which
Yep.
is kind of what has happened to me also with you. Um, so how did Children's Wonderland come into play?
Well, I was at the zoo about my third year at the zoo, and I was driving by where Children's Wonderland is in a complex here in Sylvania called Tameljaner, which is a hockey rink, and they have a sports exhibition center and Sylvania Recreation, which now runs Children's Wonderland here locally. I was driving by, and I always see the Santa beside the building, kind of on the naughty list. He's facing the building. That's just where they store him in the summertime, and I always crack jokes about that. But anyways, I was driving by, and I was thinking, I wonder what if they need a Santa, or how do I get into the connections. And I've been working with Sylvania Rec, oh my gosh, 30 plus years, both as coaches. My kid's wife, our mother, we coach from T-ball all the way up. Um, I just knew them. I had a connection in there, so I just happened to email him or call him, and he said, "Yeah, I know who's doing it, and they have to be looking for one." Next thing I knew, I was in having an interview with my photos, and the lady on the spot said, "You're hired. You can have as many hours as you want," and that just kind of kicked it off from there. So,
Wow.
and this will be year, it's either 12 or 13 that I've,
Wow.
yeah,
I remember you talking about it at Charles Howard, I
yeah,
think. And
yes.
I didn't know that. I'm in Michigan, but
The
I was intrigued though.
Well, that's good. I'm good because Julie, who runs that now, and her staff, which does a remarkable job, and they give us so much free latitude on the performance. She asked me several times, "Do I know a Mrs. Claus?" I said, "Well, I don't know anybody here local, but I do know somebody I met at school. But she lives, about an hour and 15, 20 minutes from here. But she would be perfect." Well, she asked me again, and I said, "Well, I'll talk to her and see." And you seem to be pretty intrigued, and I connected up with you two, and things just kind of happened from there.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, a lot of great tears and laughter, and it's just been a lot of fun.
I love working with you down there. But the other place that we work together that is loads of fun is Finders Keepers Vintage Market,
That's right.
because it was about 3 years after we met. I got a call that somebody needed a Santa and Mrs. Claus. I didn't, the owner of the company.
Yeah.
And then I called you and said, "Can you do this? Please, 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 because I'm scrambling. I want to do this. I got to find a Santa or
Yeah.
different Santas." And
Yeah.
you're like, "Sign me up for all of them."
Sign me up. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was nice. It was
all over Michigan and
That's right.
Toledo.
That's
Yeah,
right. Plus, it was in November, two in November, and one early December, really before we started the event. But you know what? I remember our very first time there, was in Mason, Michigan. We were only, what, 2 or 3 hours into it.
yeah.
on a lunch break, and they already invited us back for the next year.
Yep.
So
They were so excited. I don't even know if we were walking to maybe go take a break. Maybe I don't even, because we never really take breaks, hardly, whatever.
no, we don't.
And yeah, they were all at us like, you got to come back. We're like, we have 2 more dates to go, even. You guys, okay.
So we knew there was something there, something magical that the crowd just really enjoyed it. It just gelled together.
I remember that first. We were set up beside this big door that opened and closed, and it's kind of
Yeah,
cold and
yeah.
snowy or whatever. And I remember saying something to you. We had a break or something, and I was like, "What? This is magical.
Yeah.
This is like beyond like this is what you want to happen, and why we do this, and this is happening right now." It was so wild.
It was. It was so much fun with the ladies and the children and the adults coming up, and we just
Everybody was happy.
interacted with them. Yeah, yeah. It was so much fun, and we continue that. This will be our third year doing that.
Yeah, yeah. And the funny thing, I was just telling somebody that we do not sit down really at
No,
all for hours and hours and hours, it seems.
they provide a little chair, a couch for us there,
Mhm.
but the only time we sit there is, you know, very
If we
rare.
have
Very
to.
rare. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we
And
got our standing positions. You know, who's on the left, who's on the right, in the middle,
yep.
and it's
Now,
so
as
much.
they're walking up to us, we're figuring out, okay, how we're going to do this. And I swear we read each other's minds because we just pose around them, and it totally works. Take babies in our arms, do whatever we need to do. You take the dog, I take the baby, we're good.
So
So,
much fun. And so I'm glad that you invited me to do that because it's really opened up a lot of opportunities.
yeah, yeah. So, let's see what else we have on this. I'm
Sure.
trying to stick with my outline.
Okay, sorry about that. I got a little
No,
off.
that's okay. We could talk for hours. Um, so tell me now. You know I get all nosy on this show, and I tell every guest that even though I know you pretty well, Jeff, um, we want the tea, basically. You could say. So what? Starting solo, and then working with me or others. Um, how has it shaped you, your approach to things, and your transition through all that you've done these years?
When I started solo, I really didn't do, I'm not really a home visit kind of Santa for the most part. When I started out, it was in the preschool, um, elementary school. I did go to my niece elementary school up in Tecumseh. When their son was in preschool, she had me come up as their present to the school, her room, to be Santa up there. So that's when I did a solo. It's interesting when you're walking down the hallway in a school and they hear jingle bells going along out there, and all the kids run to the door, and the teachers kind of lose a little bit of control for the children, and you got to step in. But that was a lot of fun. So my solo career really wasn't a lot of solo stuff, other than at the zoo. You know, that's kind of like a mall Santa type thing. Um, I do very few home visits, probably anywhere from maybe 2 to 3 a year. That's about I do.
And I
And
only do one, and it's with you. So,
it's a lot of fun. And, this will be year 4 for me going to the Condens family Christmas. And this will be year 3 for you. And I think we've already started the discussion what we're going to do for it this year.
yeah, yeah.
It's like
Because
we're,
we make it extra special. It's over the top. We
yeah,
plan this so well, and
yeah. It seems like we've grown with their family as their
you know,
grandchildren have grown.
new babies and
Babies. Yeah.
it's cool, very
It's a
cool.
lot of fun. A lot
Yeah.
of fun.
So, how you did donuts with Santa by yourself,
Not very good.
and
Not
then you
very
had
good.
me to help you.
Oh my gosh, got me organized and moved me along because when I was doing it myself, I was too much talking to the individual tables where I'd run out of time, and that was not good. So you really helped show me the way to organize and to do it more efficiently.
But I don't. I'm not bossy or anything. I
No,
mean, you do your
no.
thing. I just kind of
Come on, Santa. Let's.
I think while you're doing the other, that's why it works so nice.
It does. It does. And when we're seeing children that they come up and see us, you've already spotted them out a little bit to kind of get a feel of the lay of the land, so you can say, okay, we have whatever um, issue or whatever that might be coming up here. So
Yeah,
that,
this
that's
this
worked out
last
really well.
it was very magical because we had a photographer following us around,
Yeah,
and she was really good with her ears and listening and watching for some kids that need a little extra help.
that's right. That's
That
right.
was so heartwarming because she told me, and then we took care of business and took that child, the girl, under my arm, and whatever, and she was with us during the story time and made a big
Yeah,
difference. So
made a big difference. Big
yeah,
difference.
we'll
And
never forget that.
no, I won't. I won't. And also the time at, if I can mention, at Finders Keepers, when I think we were in, I don't know, Jackson maybe,
Yeah,
and there was a family that came up, including grandma who was in a wheelchair, got a picture taken, and they kind of pushed grandma away a little bit. And I was talking to the children, and then you said,
they were totally ignoring her, just
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah. And you said, Santa, you need to go down and talk to grandma down there. So naturally, when I get down to the children, I go down and walk to her, get on my knee at her level and start talking to her, and it was just priceless. It was just
I
such.
remember you kind of crouched down to talk with her, and she was talking back. She was very happy to see you.
Oh
Sit
yeah,
right up. But I remember when you looked up at me as you had been talking to her, and you had tears in your eyes, which made me have tears in my eyes because I knew we did something that we should have been doing, and it was magical, and it was a moment. It was very
very
cool.
special, very special.
Very cool.
I
Um,
tried to get the not only just the children. I do at here local. I got some of my solo events that I do. I do quite a few of the YMCA's here in the Toledo area.
yeah.
At their family events, and also there's one that I specifically go to during the day, which is their Silver Sneakers, which is the retired generation. And I always like to go there and talk to them, and make them feel like a child, and always ask the question, what was the favorite present that I brought you as a child 20 years ago? And they always say, yeah, right, 20 years ago. But you know what? You've seen this. There's spark in their eye. They think real quick, and then the comes up and they can describe something to a T of what their favorite present was as a child. And that's always emotional, very emotional.
That's one of the favorite things that I watch you do is when you ask the person that's there, they think they're there for the children, but they're so excited to see you.
Yeah,
And then you turn to them and give them time too.
yeah,
And you can just tell they turn into that 5-year-old
they
little
do.
self. And then you ask them that, and before you know it, they know instantly that gift.
Yes, yes.
And we've heard some stories that are tough to listen to, or happy to listen to,
Yeah.
and tears.
I'm an emotional guy, and it brings tears to my eyes at times, and it's just the joy.
Yeah,
Just remember, the one lady said her one gift that she got was a bowling ball, and we looked at each other. We said that seems a little unusual, and she gave us the story that her dad was a bowler, and they got to spend more time together.
yeah.
So,
Remember the very elderly lady that she received a lace collar. She wanted a lace. Years ago, they'd have
yeah,
lace collars, and you could
yeah,
put them on your shirts. And she received that for Christmas, and she just thought that was the best thing in the whole world because they didn't have money and whatever. And she was just a tiny, fragile little. That
that's
was
right.
that was a tearjerker.
A lot
Uh,
of times they come and they think they're just going to stand in the background and watch their grandchild or their son or daughter, but we try to get everybody involved. It's
that's right.
every
Nobody
person's
goes
different.
unnoticed, right? At
Yeah,
all.
that's right.
And you being an umpire is super cool because I can if I sit in a chair on the edge of something, you actually up and down
Yes,
To get eye level with the kids. I'm always so impressed
yes, yeah.
because
So
it
that's
works so nice.
that is a lot of fun doing officiating, and I've been doing that for I don't know 30 some years now, and high
How
school
many
for about
how many
13.
games did you do this year?
Including the ones I did yesterday. I did three yesterday. Probably I'm pushing I don't know somewhere around 190 games this
Oh
year.
my gosh.
But it's so fun to give back to the community and working with the children and the coaches and it's amazing when I'm at the ball field too. I don't promote Santa, but if somebody comes up to me, which there's been almost every weekend at a tournament, somebody will come up, whether it's a grandparent, usually a grandparent or a coach, and they'll ask about Santa. So what I do, I always carry my stickers with me. So while they're talking, I'll pull out a sticker and I'll give it to them, and then they'll just go like, "Oh my gosh, it's just a joy."
You
Yeah.
know, a lot of people know about our scrapbook that we show children.
Yes.
But I do have a picture of you. I think I put it in there last year of you umping,
Yep.
so that I tell the children, to watch. You look out that ball field, you might see him.
That's
And
right.
they're,
You never know where we're going to be yet. That's right. Remember last year we also bought an airplane.
oh yeah, Santa flies, because we
Santa flies.
needed to show them that that's how we get there,
That's
and
right.
that
And,
was
and
yeah,
this year when we're on vacation, we bought a sailboat this year. You probably saw
yes,
it on there. So some new items to talk about this year.
yeah, we were sailing. I hope I was with you on that. I don't. We haven't worked that story out yet, but I'd like to be on the sailboat.
Yeah, we got to work that story out. Yeah.
Let's go through the questions real
Yeah.
quick.
Sure.
Um, Hello, Betsy. Thank you for joining us. John, Bart, Diane. Let's see if some others. Mike. Hello, Mike. Let's see. Anybody else? Bill. Hello. Don. I said hi to earlier. Chris. Hello. I just want to make sure that we say hi to everyone that's on here. Um, okay, let's get some questions.
Sure.
Um, we appreciate all of you. Yes, we respect each other a lot, Don. It works, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
We put a lot of work in this that is not just in front of the children. I mean, we do a lot of homework, and
We know our backstories and we can finish each other's sentences. It's interesting. Can I mention real quick at Children's Wonderland, we're in a sports exhibition complex. It's like a big soccer field if you look like it inside. Usually at one end in the chair talking with the boys and girls with the photographer. You're at the other end with the children doing story time and various different things. And
mhm.
um, when I'm done with the children, I always give them a candy cane. But I say it's not just it's a special candy cane. This is a candy cane that Mrs. Claus and her two favorite elves, her daughters, made at home. And you see the red spot in here, the red. That's her special recipe. So make sure you lick the red. But when you see her, make sure you tell her thank you for the candy canes. And you tell me what happens from that point, then.
I'll be sitting in my chair or over my area, and I'll be talking to somebody, and I'll have little kids come around the corner running with candy canes because they're coming back to thank me and hug me, and constantly, all day long, all 10 or 12 hours or whatever it is. And then I'll say, "Did you talk to Santa? Did he tell you?" And uh, they're just giggling, and they love it because we tell stories between all that space is between us, but we have communication even though we're not with each other.
Yeah.
Um,
We know our backstories pretty well, and so we know what each one's going to say when they see it. Like the ring on my finger that you bought that for me. You ask about that, and it's just good conversations back and
well,
forth.
I'll start it out by telling them too that to look at my ring, or they'll look at it and I'll say
Yeah.
it's from, I'm married to Santa. He's the best husband in the world, and go into this story. And then they'll be gawking at it, whatever. And then I'll say, you need to, when you go see him, you look at his finger. He has his ring on too.
Yeah.
So they'll come back and talk to me about that too. There's many repeats when I'm seeing the children, but that's okay. More the merrier.
Oh, I just love that because the communication, even though we're at opposite ends, we
I know.
know what's going to happen, and it just really works. And you know what? The people love it because
Yes.
they think it's really Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Yes. And when the children run up to me and they smile and I see that they're missing a tooth, and
Yeah,
then I know they have seen you already, and they'll say, Santa says that the tooth fairy is your best friend. Can we see a picture? Oh, yes. And then I talk about my bestie, and I'll pull
yeah.
out a picture of her, and they're just giggling and loving it all. So
You know,
that's magic.
that's one of the things that I want to expand on a little bit this year when we're at Charles Howard is to get a picture because you introduced me to the real tooth fairy.
Yes, I did.
So you see a lot of children with missing teeth. So I'm going to have a photo with me that will say, well, here, which is interesting because not that draws not only the child in, but now the parents are drawn in too because now they want to see a picture of Mrs. Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and we're going to have Mike's picture, I think, this year too, as the elf. So I want to be
Yeah.
able to communicate a variety of different backstories to help expand my pictures and stuff this
I
year.
love working with others in the community on this because they have spent so much time on their character development, and we can bring what they've done to the children,
Yeah.
and they're more than happy. We all work together at what we're doing, and it's just a blast. Let me see if we have another question on here.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right. No, no, no. It's fine. Bart says, "Do the two of you have any code words, gestures, etc., to communicate so their audience is oblivious to what you're coordinating?"
Well, we kind of come up with something like, for example, if you're if you're in need of help or get me out of this situation, we have like a gesture. Trying to remember what it was. If it was
It's usually
the chin, like
I
okay, I
do
need help.
this.
Help me out here. I need to get need help in this situation here. That's kind of our code language right there.
Yeah.
So
Or I think when we're working together, though, I mean, we just have a good chemistry that I just kind of look at you and you like pick up on it. I don't even know how you, because when I look at you a certain way or something that like you need to pay attention to whatever I'm trying to tell you, and then I just
yes,
kind of we
yeah.
guide you to whatever it is.
Especially if we have a child coming up that might be
Yeah.
in maybe not the best situation at home. We're just you seem to pick up on that a lot quicker than I do, and you kind of like read it to me here, and so we kind of pick up on that. So it
See,
works.
right now I know what you're going to say. This is so funny. Yeah, I'm pretty in tune on a lot of stuff like that, and it works because you can read me
Yeah.
very well, I think.
Can I tell the real quick, like when we're
Yeah.
finders keepers? I remember this last year, and I always ask the child, "Okay, what's one of your most favorite presents you want for Christmas? What's the number one present you want for Christmas?" So they'll tell me what it is. Then I'll turn to you, Mrs. Claus, for which elf do we need to talk to about that? And we got so slap happy with that. And you tell them what you would come up with then.
Well, you would ask me which elf, so I would say, first it was Phineas, and then it would be, Luke, and then another couple normal names. But then after a while, I'm like, kids don't know I'm doing this. So then I would say Fred, and then I would say Barney, and then I would say Wilma, and so the whole rest of the day, sometimes you would stop and look at me, and you would look at me like, don't you even do this. And then I would do it.
Oh
And I
my
would give you some crazy cartoon names, and kids didn't have a clue.
God.
Parents now, we'd look up at them and they would just be giggling. and finding it really funny that we were having fun, and it kind
Yes,
of,
exactly. They saw that we were having fun, which made it entertaining for them, and they enjoyed it, which made it work really well. And
yeah.
I look forward to, okay, what names is she going to pick out now? You know?
I think we were just deliriously tired too, but
Yeah, yeah. But it
uh,
works. It works.
that was a funny moment I will never forget. Tears in our eyes, like, and I couldn't
Yeah,
even stop being a smarty pants.
yeah, that
Um,
was fun. That was fun.
so the one gesture is like if I need help at something, and it's not only for Jeff, it's for, um, and I've talked about this other times, but if I'm alone working, sometimes I don't have anybody helping me. If I have the younger people that are in the venue working, they know that if they walk by me and I put my hand up, they need to come help me. And
Yeah,
they're really good about looping around constantly. There's somebody. So there's
yeah,
not much time in between them.
yeah.
But I do have a radio or a phone. I can call somebody. But if there's somebody I need, that's the other thing that I do personally. Um, so I think other than that, we do really well with just body language too. I think that
Yeah.
is,
I can usually sense that you're telling me to do something, whether it's to go talk to an individual or whatever it may be, but just
or gently like grabbing your arm gently,
yeah,
like when we're doing the donuts and we need to keep walking and things like that. It's just without saying, nobody sees us, but it's a little signal to each one of us.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Which has really
so,
helped me out a lot because we're able to get around, greet everybody, thank them for coming, you know, promote the whole experience. And we did promo videos for that last year too, which was fun.
you know, and I think that a lot of this whole thing is because we do our homework.
Yeah,
We're prepared for the season, so that's why it works so nicely. Even down to we watch cartoons. You in Ohio, me in Michigan, and you're calling me saying, "Did you get? It's on right now. Watch it." So we're both watching the cartoons to get our backstories going and remember. And
yep,
um, that
yep.
there's a lot that goes into it. So I'm sure that's part of why it works. Okay, Mary says, when you work together, do you use many props?
Hmm. We do some.
Yeah.
You- you-
Um, we tell stories together, but kind of we can finish each other's sentences so that it really works nicely.
Yeah,
Because I can point to something, start it, and then you go to the rest of the story,
yep,
or back and forth, and I'm interacting with you as Mrs. Claus would.
yep.
Santa, do you remember when we were in the plane, and then you go on to tell whatever back and
Yep.
forth.
Back and forth about the plane and why we got it and what we do with it and so forth. And
The
this year,
reindeer hair, that's
yes,
another
I have
one.
the reindeer hair and we have the antler.
Yep.
We had the head harness this last year too, and we usually show them. You have somebody from the audience come up
Yep.
that you selected to be their helper, and you have a method to select your helper usually.
Usually it's the naughty ones that are a little won't sit still.
And so you have them be your helper and show around the reindeer hair, and you talk about that. Have you ever felt it? And so yeah, the props are nice there, and the pictures from the scrapbook. You show how we were when we were young, and so forth. So
And
fun.
it's not just sitting, I mean, I'm talking to you
Yeah,
as I'm talking to the children, like we are grandparents sitting there with our grandkids talking. That's how
yeah,
the interaction goes.
yeah,
And they lose that their parents are even with them anymore, and that they're not just sitting in our living room at the
yes,
North Pole with us. I mean,
yeah.
that's what it feels like. And get up close with us kids, closer the better.
That's right. That's right. So
So we have just the normal. We'll read The Night Before Christmas. Um, I like it when I have an elf to help that one. We go back and forth reading it, or you'll make noises sometimes, or
yep, yep. We kind of put the personal touch to it.
yeah,
Personal touch, like the bowl full of jelly and uh,
yeah. Because I'll
out
say,
of the
Santa,
nose and stuff like that.
how does that go? And then you'll show the kids, You know,
Yep, yep.
that's
I'll take my yellow fairy dust and I'll put it on the side of my nose and so forth. And we have the different colored fairy dust. So we briefly talk about that, but it's try to make it so realistic. And with you and I interacting there, I think it does become realistic that they're sitting there and they are truly with Santa and Mrs. Claus. She does make the best chicken uh, dumplings.
perfect.
Perfect. I had to think about that real quick for lunch here. Chicken dumplings, soup.
You ask for it every year at Christmas Eve.
I know, and it's always waiting for me when I get back to the North Pole.
And one of the for this interaction topic, one of my best favorite memories of you is that I think it was last year, or it's happened more than once. I was sitting and had been with children for hours, and I did my reading, and then they were just around me and we're talking about whatever. And you walked up behind the children so they couldn't see you, but the parents saw you walk up, and you were just standing there like Santa, smiling at me as I'm talking to the children, and they don't know. And all the parents, like, they when you walked up, and
Yeah,
then you just started talking to me like I was, Mrs. Claus, or
yeah,
how's it going, Mrs. Claus? And the kids turned around and they were so excited because you were standing there. And then I got up and went over to you and grabbed your arm like, Mrs. Claus would do. And we talked and they all watched. It was just so precious.
yeah.
So those are the moments I live for too, of acting, I guess you could say. Um, Okay. Any more questions? I think we've covered. Hello, George is on here. Smithers, welcome. Um, why don't we take a break right now and we'll have Angela take over with a commercial and we'll be right back. Well, that was nice. Now I would, back with Jeff Wertz, I would like you to, let's talk about July this year. And in connection with a little bit extra stuff that we do, and I do for some of my other clients um, with marketing
Yes.
and our event planners. So go ahead.
Yep. This last July, Children's Wonderland, we're going to be introducing a new Facebook page for Children's Wonderland. And they had reached out to you and I and say, could we do some type of a small video with a look what's coming, kind of like a surprise is coming and so forth. So, we talked about it and we kind of decided where we would do it. We had to come up with a location that was kind of like between the two of us and the clothing that we were going to wear and so forth. So we kind of matched and so forth, and worked out really good. It was a Sunday, I remember, and it was a really nice park that you selected with the scenery and the waterfall there to get the image of the maybe the North Pole in the summertime. And it was amazing that we had people walking in the park area that helped one take pictures, ask questions, and so forth. But that was a lot of fun. And then maybe next year we might be able to do some gigs around the Christmas in July thing.
I think that was our first. Yeah, it felt right.
Yeah.
The other, we support the event planners all year,
Oh,
basically.
yeah.
In January after the season, we have a meeting with them, a Zoom, and talk about what happened, what didn't happen, whatever's maybe change or whatever. So that's nice for some closure. But then all year long, basically, we're in communication with them.
Yeah.
And like we've reached out to them this year so far.
Yep.
If they want special pictures, we're going to be doing that in Midland. So happy to. Last year we had the exact donuts that were going to be eaten at the Donuts with Us
That's right. I remember
breakfast.
stopping there and picking up the box from the place, and we did that. And
How
we
cool is that for pictures? I
that
mean,
is that is so. So we'll probably do something this year because we'll be well this year too. Where they're also ask us to do in Sylvania here. They have a fall festival in October, which will be I guess the week after we get back from Charles Howard. But they're going to have a booth this year, and they've invited us to be in the booth to help promote Children's Wonderland. And I got some ideas. I want to touch base with you on that before we go to that, so we can kind of have our, what we're going to be doing and some kind of I don't want to say a script, but things we want to try to get across on that one.
I cannot wait, and I hope that we have children that we've seen before that come up to us because I'm really excited about
Yeah.
that.
And that happens. That happens.
Yeah. And with like for me, I help my clients actually market. I go in and sit with them weeks before any event and talk about what they want out of the season, what they want out of me coming in there. It helps with my sell for them to pay me a little more and the whole picture.
Sure.
So I can't say enough about doing this and learning how to do it. And it's fun.
It is fun, and by being around you, you've helped me interact better, I think, with the client when I do solo stuff. It just helps me be open my eyes a little bit more to see what potentially is out there.
It has been cool in the past when you call me after went for a job, you got the job, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. Um, let's see what we've got some questions on here. Don says how we seem to revert to 18th century manner of addressing each other when on set. I think we're just very respectful. It's not any old
Yeah.
fashioned anything.
No.
It's very gentle and nice and loving and like you would want to see, I think.
Yep. I think so too. It just and people see that, and they feel so comfortable with that. That
Yeah.
This is how they should be treating each other, and it works out great. Works out great.
Okay, John says when you two do promise, do you ever stage children or do you just go in and improv? No, we just do improv. We've never,
Improv, yeah, always,
yeah.
always improv. Yeah.
And I'm never afraid to just take a second and think for a minute if I'm needing to come up with something. You don't have to be nervous and just be
No,
normal and just
no,
stop for a second
that's
and
right. That's right.
carry on.
That's right. And sometimes we do something that they don't even know that we might have messed up on something because we just like you just kind of I don't want to say cover it up, but you just move on, and they don't even notice anything different.
And when you work with somebody, and that's the advantage of having a Mrs. Claus and doing your homework and all of this, if you talk for a minute and then I can talk. We go back and forth. So if you're lost when somebody says Santa, they want a Stanley cup. And Santa thinks it's a choo-choo train, right?
Yeah.
So Mrs. Claus jumped in and saved the day and saved
Yeah.
Santa from that. So that's what we do for each other
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And that's the advantage of having somebody there with you that
Yes.
you can, bounce that back and forth.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's see. Okay. Let's go on to Bart says, wonderful guest tonight, Sean. Thank you, Jeff, for your most excellent interview.
Ah, thank you.
That's nice. Um, so tell me about you went to your first Santa's family reunion this year. Tell
Oh,
me.
yes. That was
Reflection.
overwhelming. It was overwhelming. It was such a good time from the time I landed in there at the hotel and then connected up with you guys. I connected up with some older friends that were at Charles Howard that I met. And there's always seems to be a group that goes around to the different schools. Um, but I remember meeting two new people that I had never met before that at the airport that I was bringing them back to the hotel. Trish and Betsy, the famous tooth fairy. And I tell you, when we got in the car driving over to Gatlinburg, um, oh my gosh, it just almost sounded like we knew each other for years, and that was the first time we ever met. And because you had told me so much about them, and likewise back and forth, it was just like we just knew each other for years. And actually got to the point, to be honest with you, and I don't know if Betsy ever told you this, that we ended up driving around in a circle because I kept on missing my turn because we were talking so much, and I missed my turn, and I said, "Oh my God, I think we've seen this before." And that was so fun, but it was a really good time. And,
Yeah.
so that's where I'm excited to promote on my solo stuff this year because you see so many children that with a tooth missing. So I like to is whatever I can do to help promote the Tooth Fairy and Mrs. Claus and so forth. So it's been good. That's an additional networking that I was able to do as well as in Charles Howard and Red Sioux Conclave. I mean, without all that, I would be nowhere where I'm at right now. Without
Isn't
all
that something? It is the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, I got to tell you, Charles Howard, a few years ago, I was at the Baymont Hotel and went down for breakfast the first day, and there was a gentleman sitting there I had never met before. And I said, "Is it okay if I sit down there?" And he said, "Sure." Well, Lord knows we found out that we were almost neighbors. Santa Ken, we were almost neighbors and became pretty good friends after that ever since that. Not only in the Santa world, but in our own personal lives too. So
Yeah.
the
Very
networking has
cool.
just been just keeps on growing everywhere I go. Even though I've been there, this will be my seventh year. I will meet and learn something new every time.
And I can't wait to go back. I know. Well, I met Betsy for real,
Yeah,
best friends, and because of all this, who knew?
that's
I'm
right.
very grateful.
So
So,
Steph, look out! You're going to get some pictures here of us together, so I can put them in my photo book.
um, so tell me the value of clients and impact on families and society that you bring, or we all bring.
Uh,
What's your 2 cents on that?
we bring the joy of Christmas, the joy of uh, the spirit, and try to give people a little bit of relaxation or the spirit, even if it's for just a few minutes in the community. I love to do that all the time when I'm working with the older generation, and I say, "What's your most favorite present?" Because that joy in their eyes just gets me. And the community. And I do the tree lighting. I got to tell you this real quick, a story.
Yeah.
I did the tree lighting ceremony at the Toledo Hospital, which is one of the major hospitals in Toledo here. And they always have me come in earlier in that afternoon to go up to the children's hospital. And, I get to walk around, of course, with the nurses, and they tell me which rooms you can go in, which ones you can't, which ones you can, just poke your head in and say hello. But I tell you, there's this one, and I'll tear up right now because it was a real tearjerker. There was this little girl, probably about 7 or 8 years old, sitting up in bed, and off to the side, they had her parents and her grandparents, I think, in there. So they walk in the room. The girl had a keyboard on her lap, and she'd been practicing because she knew Santa was coming. So she started playing Jingle Bells. Oh, tearjerker.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
I
that's
remember you talking about that.
yeah, but that's the
Golly.
joy, bringing the joy to them. Even if it's a little bit, because my process at the hospitals and places like that is to bring the North Pole to them, show them the reindeer here, let them feel it, the antlers and all that kind of stuff. Pictures. Have you seen Mrs. Claus before? And just draw them in, like show them the North Pole. That's kind of my theme when I go to the hospital. But
Yeah, that's
it's
so nice.
it's so nice. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Gosh, I don't even know where to go after that. Um, okay, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry about that.
Tell me, advice for new Santas and seasoned performers, both. What would you say? Jeff
Well,
Wertz advice.
advice. Oh my gosh, my 2 cents worth, huh? Well, I tell you, had I not gone the route, when Nancy helped me, push me to go to Santa school, that kind of started it. Now I got to meet people that I had never would have known before. The networking. You go to classes and you learn from the classes,
Right.
but you also learn a lot in the lobbies and at dinner, talking to other Santas. What do they do? How do they do it? What do they do in different situations? You just start networking and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And now you have this pool of people that you can um, communicate with and ask questions out there. And you get into the forums and it's education and training and our backstories. I'm lucky to work with the best Mrs. Claus, and we do our backstory, so it makes our whole gig really well. And also, my other advice is for a new Santa: don't be overwhelmed by going out and thinking you have to get a $1,000, $2,000 suit. You don't have to do that. You can get a very nicely suit. I have two, actually three from Adela's from Hollywood, and they're under the $700 mark. I mean, they're expensive, but they're not the custom made $2,000 ones. So you don't have to go out and do that. Start out small and you start to materialize. I started out, I didn't have a beard, and I was always every year thinking, how can I make myself look better? With the better boots, the better belts, and then finally I had a designer beard for 1 year, and then finally said this was always the thing. So I just started growing a real beard, whether people like it or not, but that's what it is. So
It looks really good, by the way.
thanks.
Healthy. Very, very, it's coming in nicely.
Well, thanks to Terry for some of his beard products. I was going to show him, Terry, I still have the key to the sleigh here. I'll never lose that, Joel.
Okay, since we brought him up, I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
This is pretty cool on my tree now.
I got to get one of those.
I have been stay bearded. Yeah, isn't that neat?
Yes. Yeah, his products are great, and he's been a really neat guy to work with, too.
Very
Good business.
supportive.
Very
For
supportive.
sure. Yeah.
Very supportive.
So we'll be seeing more
Yes.
bearded with me. So too.
Barry, I'm going to buy some products in Mason. That'll be when I see you next. So I'll give you an order before I get there.
I'm going to be in Chelsea with him in another 21st, I think it is, of
Yeah.
September, and helping him. So that'll be fun. Hopefully, I'll see people I know coming in.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
So that's been a lot of fun. Who knew Miss Claus would be doing this kind of stuff? But I'm enjoying it. Okay. Now I would like to know what dreams and goals you hope to achieve.
Hope to achieve, especially this year. I wrote those down. I wanted to enhance on a few items. One of them I picked up I wanted to do from Santa's Family Reunion. But first, let me go down the list here. First, I want to get to know Mike and the elves and what do the elves do a little bit more so I have a better backstory on the elves at the North Pole. Also, I have some elves on the shelf. I want to enhance those a little bit this year. Um, those have just been very good when I do on the solo performances. The elf on the shelf, which I picked up on an idea from networking at from Mike and Michael at Conclave and so forth. Also, the Tooth Fairy is another one on my list this year. The Tooth Fairy, because you see so many children with missing teeth and
Did
stuff
you
like
did
that.
you have Phineas in your book last year?
No, I did
Okay, you
not.
gotta get him this year then too. He'll be
Yep,
up there.
I really didn't know him until this last year where I got to know him. But I wanted to get to know him more and get a picture
The
of.
kids absolutely loved it when I would pull that page out of the pictures and talk about. I mean, they wanted to see that. So
One of the neat things I want to work on this year too is at the family reunion. I took one of the sessions I took had to deal with children with special needs or nonverbal. So those are children that I want to try to connect to a little bit more this year, and I'm kind of working on a prop that they kind of showed us there, um, of various different types of pictures that I can point and have a conversation. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to work that through, but I think that's a special area that I want to try to connect myself, be a better connection to help make an enjoyable visit for them. Is was one of the areas I want to do. I love to be in a parade this year. I was in one last year, and I tell you, and I think you have been in a parade, and
yeah,
there's nothing more. I call it a Santa rush, because when you're going down the back streets of a town, and I was in one in a suburb of Toledo here, pretty good size, but then when you go down Main Street and you got thousands and thousands of children and parents all waving and yelling at Santa, it's like a big Santa Rush, and I hope to do one of those again this year. So we'll see if that happens. And the other thing is, I'm working on a small PA system to help save her voice
yes,
this year. So that helped me last year, and you saw the video of the one that I was in last year, which really was an ideal thing.
that's my big improvement too this year. Still working on it.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Okay. So let's see. So, what are you looking forward to at Charles Howard then, other than networking? I mean, are you anything in particular? Pictures you're going to be taking?
Yep. Yep. I want to get some new photos for a few new photos for my book. Um, with I already mentioned with Santa, Mrs. Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and Phineas. Um, to get some new pictures and updated those, so when I start telling my backstories, when I'm doing my solo events, I can work those into my stories, and and then when you and I are together, a lot of times we end up using some of our photos as well too.
Yeah.
But
One of the good things, it's not just networking, it's actually being around so many creative people
yes,
that it's like walking into a store when
yeah,
you start looking around and looking at things for props and the brain starts working. But just being around others that
yes.
are using the
Energy level, that energy level out there, and you pick up ideas, and that's how I created more of my solo performances, is picking up from ideas, and sometimes they don't work the way that they do it, so I put my own little twist to it to make it works good for me, and so
the one thing I like to do is talk to the um, Santas usually from other countries,
mm,
um, because then I talk about that, bring it up sometimes in the classrooms when I'm working with kids. And
sure,
last year I was talking about cookies from all over the world, and I actually had talked to the Santa from England, and kind of cool when you actually have
that's
done
right.
that, and
Find out what their customs are too. It's always interesting to see how their customs are different from the ones that we have.
yeah, yeah. I will say that this is just something added. I bought this. It's an older book on gnomes,
Sure.
but I think a lot of this can be used for elf stories, and they talk about elves in here too. But this is something I'm going to be doing a little homework on to help with my creations of stories of
Sure,
little magical
sure.
fairies and things
There you
like
go.
that.
Well, you already got something else that you said you were going to introduce this year too.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm anxious to see how
They're all
we,
sitting there looking at me.
so how that story develops, and you and I can talk, so I can help with that backstory and so forth. So I think that might be something we use at our special visit this year.
And I announced that to the preschool at the School of the Arts about a puppet,
Yeah,
and they were so excited that I mentioned that I was going to do that. So it's preschoolers, little ones.
yes,
It's going to be a blast. I can't
yeah.
wait. So yeah, that is a big addition that I need to get to work on. Okay, so let's see if we have everything I wanted to cover in here. Let's see if we have any questions. I think there was something that came up. Advice would you give to new or experienced Santas to expand their business, increase their clients?
Hmm. Um, I guess again, networking. I guess everywhere you go, since you have kind of the Santa appearance, you always have in your business card. You're never trying to miss an opportunity that presents itself. Um, you never know when you hand out that card, or just talk to somebody, or if I hand them out a sticker, you just never know where it's going to go from there. Or somebody saw you. Actually, is interesting because Um, it happened this last year. I was at one of the YMCA's in Toledo, and I was doing an evening event by myself. And there was a long line. They have long lines of people coming in there. And happened to be the one lady was ran a preschool, and she inquired about it. And I think she contacted the people at the Y and got my number and name and stuff. But I couldn't do it, so I passed it off to Ken. But unfortunately, he got sick and he couldn't do it. But we just kind of networked together. And you never know when you're going to run into somebody that it might turn into something. Just never know.
Well, I know that it's something that you just are marketing constantly, marketing yourself. Like I was out of town shopping about 30 minutes from here, and I handed my card out. I had to apologize to my friend. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm working. I didn't mean to be doing this today, but it just seems right everywhere. I was going into these stores and different places, and it was just perfect. I pictured myself there, and
You
they
did.
needed. So I had a late, owners, business owners pulling out their calendars
Yeah.
um, to make things happen, and that's you constantly.
I
You got to be
constantly.
doing that, and
You
that's how
know,
you get all these jobs.
I'll post stuff on Facebook. I do some things, and I do my one of my bigger events I do right now is the softball association,
Yeah.
and the gentleman's having me come back for 3 years, and during our umpire meetings, he's always promoting me. So, and out of that, I picked up another umpire family that I knew and went to their place, family gathering, and some of my high school buddies that I've been to their place. So I don't do a lot of home visits, but people that I know. And
Yeah.
it usually comes from either word of mouth or on Facebook posts or just word of mouth a lot of times too. And it's a lot of fun.
I've got to tell something funny really quick, and then I'll move on.
Okay.
We have a little support group during the season, and it's you, Ken, and myself on a text usually to. And Betsy might have been on it last year. I'm not sure. Um, but just to get us through the season, like, I'm getting a sore throat. What do I do? But it was you or Ken that put on there. I went to home visit. Now I smell like chicken nuggets. What do I do?
Oh, that was me.
That was the
That was
funniest
me.
thing.
That was me. And Ken went to a home and he smelled like roast beef. So he was running around the car with first, spray. And that's what I remember telling you about the chicken nuggets. Yeah. So,
So funny. That's something that nobody talks about. To
no.
go from house to house, Santa doesn't want to smell like chicken nuggets at the next
Yeah.
one.
But,
It's just funny.
it was a fun place. I mean, that's one of my friends that I go to, and she has a really good time, and I enjoy going there. She's a great lady, but yeah, some things you don't notice until you're out. Then you got to think, okay, That's why you always have a backup suit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing I learned at school is if you have one suit, you have none. Because, if something happens to your suit during the season, you just can't go to the store and, generally pick up a good quality suit that you need. So that's why you got
And
to have.
for the Mrs. Claus, people can rip on wearing an apron all they want, but after 12 hours, I might need to change that because it's pretty gross. It stands
Yeah,
up on its own after that many thousands of kids in my lap and all over me. I
yeah,
mean, that's a good reason to have an apron.
yeah, exactly.
So it's very efficient.
Exactly. It's
Um,
interesting. One of the places I go to, and I'll let you continue on there, but um, I started at Ken gave me this gig. It's at a senior center here local, and they have a breakfast with Santa. It's usually one of my first ones of the year. And the first year I came in, and I don't think the people knew I was not going to be their formal Santa that just came and sat in the chair. That's not me. I get up, talk around, I bring my props with me, I do all this kind of stuff, and it kind of shocked them. But then the next year I came back, and the lady said they have numerous calls to want to know if the same Santa was going to be back, which they signed up for that breakfast with Santa. So that's always nice to get those repeat people.
yeah. And if you do enough marketing, social media, your face is out there, you have a page just for your business.
Yeah.
I have Mrs. Claus Vintage, nothing else goes on there. That's for people I do not really know. They go on there for the business part of this. Um, what happens is I can be out in public, like I was with thousands of people at an airport Saturday, being Sean White working, and I don't know how many times people were walking up to me asking me about Mrs. Claus. And that was the last thing I was thinking about because it was more like pilots and airplanes,
Yeah.
and crowds of people. Um, but it's because of the social media
Yeah.
and all of this that has caused this to happen. So I didn't have cards with me, shame on me, but I really didn't want to be in that
Wow.
role. I
That was
was,
a first, wasn't it? Wasn't that a first?
it was a first, but I was just wanting to be
In the
airport
year, yeah,
lady,
airport.
and do this stuff and enjoy event planning, and that was a huge deal. But anyways, it was just shocking to me how many people said that without me ever bringing that up.
No, I know. Is our
Um,
airplane still there too?
yes, I saw it. Yes,
So
the
our
red
airplane still
one.
there? That's good.
Yep, yep. Um, so with that, I think, do we have any more questions? Ken did say that you need an extra pair of pants is a good idea too, which is yes, very true.
And the cloth, the lap
Yes,
towel that you made for us last year, which is really valuable too.
yeah. Yeah, that could be used for an animal too, I would think, for animal pictures also.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Um, so is there anything else you would like to close with, to
I could
tell?
say just get involved. I mean, if you're going to be new at it, go out and had I not gone to my first Charles Howard, everything just expanded from there. Go out to schools, talk to people, get to know people. Because, if you're a Santa just local, chances are you're not going to get to know a lot of the other Santas. Like when I'm an umpire, you gather together because it's okay for umpires to gather between games and all that kind of stuff. But when you're Santa, there's usually only one Santa there at a time. So go to schools, get training, network with people. That's where it helped me get to where I'm at today. And I don't know what the future is going to be, but every time I go, I meet new people, and it's just such a good group of people to be associated with.
Well, thank you for joining me today, and thank you for everything that you do. I appreciate you very
So
much,
thank you.
um, and wish you well this season. Also, I will be seeing you pretty soon.
Yep.
So let's see what we need to go through. I want to thank Angela, my favorite producer in the whole world. She's
Yes.
wonderful.
Thanks, Angela.
And TNL for everything they do for me and for the show. Next week is going to be a mystery guest at a mystery place. And full of fun and laughter. And I tried to get Angela to be there too, but I don't think she can make it. That would have been even more fun. So please join us next Monday. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I really don't know how much structure is actually going to be there with this one, but it'll be worth watching. It's going to be entertaining for an hour, and I hope everybody can join us.
Yep.
So with that, I'm going to close with my tag of, let's see, I am losing all my pages. Okay, here we go. Everything we do is for the children, the ones before us, beside us, and beyond us. So please don't lose that in your heart. And thank you for being here tonight. And we will see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.